Hi guys, it's Lee with Pig-Chicka-Cow-Cow here. We got a beautiful Snake River Farms tri-tip here, and I've never made a tri-tip before, but a couple weeks ago at the Megabyte class, Sterling Smith was there with Loot and Booty, and he made probably the most amazing tri-tip I've ever had. So I thought, alright, let's give it a whirl, and this would be the perfect opportunity to answer some questions that we've been getting about how we light our Sweet Smoke Q drums, and we'll use our new cow-cow cooker to cook the cow-cow. We'll do a reverse sear on it. We'll bring it up to about 120 degrees, and then we'll boost the temperature of the drum to about 400, 450 degrees, and put a nice sear on the outside of it. So stick with us, and hopefully you'll pick up some tips. Okay, we're here in the yard, and this is where it all starts. We're going to show you how to light the cooker, or how we put the charcoal in the basket, and how we light the cooker. We use Mally's charcoal from Black Dog Firewood over in Tampa. And what I typically do is I like to fill the basket about 3/4 of the way full. But this is going to be a kind of a short cook, so I'm not going to put that much charcoal in. When you fill this basket the whole way, the cooker will run for about 24 hours. I don't need nearly that much run time right now, so I'm just going to fill it up about 1/4 of the way. That's probably actually a little bit more than 1/4. So what I'll do is I'll flatten that out a little bit, and then I have a chunk of oak and a chunk of pecan, also from Black Dog Firewood here. So I'm going to put that in here, and I'm just going to put a little bit more charcoal on top, so that way when we light it, it'll warm up the cooker, and then by the time we put the meat on, it'll get right to where those wood chunks are at. Okay, I'm here with my basket of charcoal. I'm just going to drop it right down into the drum. And just make sure that it's kind of centered at the bottom. It's kind of what I'm looking for here. And then how I light this is real simple. All that I do is I have these Weber paraffin charcoal cubes. I take one of these and take it out of the package, set it down into the center of my charcoal, and then I just take a simple candle clicker and light it. Sometimes I use a blowtorch, but the candle clicker works just as good. So it just takes a second. You get the cube lit, and you just let it burn here for about 10 minutes, and it'll start your charcoal, and you'll be ready to go. So typically I like to just turn on my controller at this point and set it to the temperature we're going to be cooking at. I'm going to set it for 215 because I just want to heat this tri-tip up real slow. Alright, we're going to season our tri-tip today with, we're going to use Punch on Lefties because that's just fantastic on steak, and this is essentially what the tri-tip is. It's a lean piece of beef, so it's like a steak. And we're going to use Loot and Booty, What's Your Beef? So what I like to do when I'm seasoning and touching raw meat and stuff is I like to take a set of gloves and put over my seasonings. This does two things. This, one, keeps me from touching the outside of my seasonings with raw meat hands, and when you're at a contest, it keeps the sugars from looking to see what you're using. So we're waiting here for this flame to die down on the drum. As soon as that dies down, then we'll close the lid. The flame, because there's a flame, that means the paraffin wax cube is still lit, and you just kind of want to wait for that to burn off before you close up your drum. So in the meantime, we're going to season this with Poncho and Lefties first, and trying to get up high. It's going to rain here in a second, so the wind's blowing, so I can't get up too high or it'll blow everywhere. But trying to get up high enough to get a nice even coverage all over this tri-tip. And then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of the Loot and Booty, What's Your Beef as well. So Loot and Booty, What's Your Beef has the nice big chunks here. You'll get a nice crust of what we're looking for. And it has some chili peppers and stuff in it. It gives a little kick on the back end. So I'm just going to pat this in a little bit. I like to hit it with a little bit more. This Poncho and Lefties, it's really good. I mean, the flavor on this is fantastic. We've been using it on our SCA cooks pretty much since we started, and what I love about it is you can really never put too much of it on. Like it's not too salty or too spicy or anything. It just has a nice balanced flavor, and you can really load it up on some beef and it doesn't hurt it at all. Just give this guy a little pat real quick, and then I'm going to cover it up while we're waiting for our smoker to come up to temperature. Okay, we're ready to assemble our cooker now. If you look down in here, the paraffin cube is all burnt out and the charcoal's on fire now, and we got a nice bed of coals started there. So we're going to add our heat deflector. So typically what I would do at this step, if I was cooking like a brisket or ribs or pork butt and I was doing a slow cook, I would put a water pan over top of this heat deflector. But I want it to be a dry cook this time, since we're just going slow on, or just reverse searing some beef. We're going to go slow. I don't really want any moisture added into the cooker for this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drip pan in here. So this is just going to collect any drippings coming down off my tri-tip, so that it doesn't fall down onto the heat deflector and it will sit there and burn as I'm cooking. And I'm just going to put the top grate in here and close it up. Now anytime that I'm cooking at a low temperature, leave the exhaust pretty much almost closed and let the fan and the computer do all the work. So I'll just let this set for probably 10-20 minutes until it gets to the temperature I want, and then we'll put the tri-tip on. Okay, our smoker is now up to temperature. It's 214 degrees. We have a nice, can't see any smoke coming out the top of the drum. We have our tri-tip here. It's started to sweat out pretty good. We're going to take our ThermoWorks dot probe, and we're going to put it right in the thickest part of this tri-tip, which looks like it's about right here. And we're going to go ahead and put this in and get our dot set up on the drum to alert us when this is ready to be seared off. I think I'm going to move this down just a little bit. I didn't like that. There we go. Alright, so we're going to set this right on the grate on the drum here, right over top of our drip pan. And we'll feed the water through the exhaust port here. Grab the dot, and when I'm using like a dot or something, I always like to put it on the handle, because then that just keeps it out of the heat, right off the direct heat of the drum. And close our exhaust back up. Now we're just going to wait until this starts beeping. Alright, we're back. The tri-tip's at about 117 degrees. We had our dot set at 120, so it might beep here any second. We're going to take it off, and I'm going to show you how to get your drum up to searing temperatures while that tri-tip rests in this pan for a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's see what it is. Yeah, it's 117 still. Put that guy right back here. So there it is. Smells delicious. Let me go ahead and take this out because we don't need it anymore. Pull this out. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to let this rest right here. You can see it's starting to dry out right here along the ends. It's looking good. It's going to sear up nice. I'm just going to loosely cover it here. Alright, now I'm going to grab some hot gloves and pull the guts out of this. So, a lot of you, especially if you're in the Florida Barbecue Association like we are, you've seen a lot of these drums that the bottoms are all burnt up. Well, whether it's one you make at home or whether it's one of the QDS drums like we have here, what people have done is they have let the lid open while the fan's blowing on the fire. And these things, while the fan's blowing on the fire, you can get a flame blowing out the top. So we're actually going to use that to our advantage right now to get this drum hotter faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave the lid open while we're waiting for this fire to get a little hotter. Because we were just cooking at 200 degrees, so we want to get up to 400 degrees, and the only way to do that is to add more oxygen. So what I'm going to do here is I took the diffuser plate out, and now I'm going to put the rack back in down on the middle level. That's where we want to be. We sear it off. So as soon as I get a nice flame going here, that should get us real close to the temperature we want. I'm going to adjust the controller and set it for 400 degrees. Okay, 400 degrees. And as you can see, just leaving the lid open for a couple minutes, there's a fire coming up here. So as soon as we're going to let the tri-tip sit in the pan. And as soon as this reaches about 400 degrees, we'll go ahead and put the tri-tip on. And for this step, we're actually going to leave the exhaust wide open because we want as much air flowing through here as we can get. Actually, if it overshoots 400 degrees, I'd be fine with that. So I'm going to leave it open for a couple more minutes. I'm going to leave it open for about a minute, and then I'm going to shut it down. Oh my, this smells so good already. I just want to eat it. We just went from low and slow indirect cooking at 220 degrees to we are at 385 degrees, and it's been less than 5 minutes on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start searing this tri-tip off. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in that grate that's right over the coals in here, and we're going to flip it every 2 minutes until we reach an internal temperature of 132 degrees. So let's get this thing started. And you can hear that sear start already. And we're just going to let that drip right over top of the fire basket. We're okay with that. We're going to close it back up. We're going to start a timer for 2 minutes, and we'll flip it again. All right, it's been 2 minutes. Time to flip this. You can see there it's starting to dry out. We're going to get that crust that we want. It's going to be perfect. Okay, it's been another 2 minutes. We're going to flip this again. Yeah. And then while we're at it, we're just going to probe it this time just to see where we're at. So we're about 126. Yeah, 126, 125. So we got probably about 2 or 3 more flips. In 2 minutes, we're going to flip it again. Oh yeah, it's getting a nice crust on it. I can't wait. This thing looks great. Check it. We're going to give it this 2 minutes, and we're going to take it off. Okay, it's been another 2 minutes. Flipping it again. And we're going to check the temperature. I think we're going to go ahead and pull it. You can see it got a nice crust on the outside here. Let's see what we're at temperature wise. So we're at 132, 133. So this will probably carry over probably another 5 degrees or so. So we're going to let it rest about 10 minutes before we slice it up. I can't wait. This thing looks fantastic. Okay, we're back. The tri-tip has rested for about 5 minutes now. It's super juicy. I mean, I push on it and the juices are coming out. Thing looks fantastic. I really can't wait anymore, so I want to slice this thing up. So let me show you. The tri-tip's an interesting piece of meat because with your beef, you always want to cut it across the grain. Well, the grain starts here at the corner, and the grain goes this way, but the grain also goes this way, and then it fans in between here. So you can slice the end this direction, but as you come across, you need to start turning your knife to this direction. Or some people will slice at this point and just go down this way. So, I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. We're going to slice off down here at this end because I know that these points are going to be a little bit more done than through the center, and Amanda likes hers a little more done, and I like mine a little less done. So we're gonna give this portion to Amanda, and then I'll take the middle portion here. But so let's slice into this and see what it looks like. You can see the juice is just rolling out of this. So you can see I'm starting to turn my knife a little bit to stay going with the across the grain. Okay, let's look at this slice. Let's see what it looks like. So you can see that's perfect medium done, and you can see all the nice fat through here in the Snake Rivers. This looks amazing. I mean, it's nice and tender. Oh my, that's so good. That is so good. You can taste the poncho and lefties underneath, which is just that beefy flavor. And then you can taste the chilies from the Loot and Booty on top. I'm gonna crush. It is fantastic. And just the tenderness and the marbling in this piece is that's incredible. It's really, really good. I think the only thing I would do different, I should probably stop eating and talk to you guys. The only thing I would do different is I would probably take it off just a little bit lower so I could sear it a little longer and get a little nicer crust on it. But I'm pretty happy with this being my first attempt at a tri-tip. I would eat this all day. If you're interested in any of the products we used here today, the ThermoWorks brand stuff, the QDS drums, Poncho and Lefties, Loot and Booty, all that stuff's available at Megabyte. Or you can go directly to Jim, with Sweet Smoke Q to get your own QDS drum if you want a custom paint job. This is just, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Look out for our next video. Thanks.